Hi everyone, my name is Stasia and today I will be speaking with two performance creators, Sofia and Julia. In previous show Ukraina TV, the artists presented our political performance called EUROPA. They took as part of the Crackers Art Festival. If you have any question for our participants, feel free to write them in the comments. So, hello girls, thank you for coming. I would like to start our conversation, and my first question that personally concerned me. Was there real blood during the performance?
I think we can answer both at the same time. Yes. It was real blood. So we like live. We really cut our backs, and because we were also a performance there, so we cut our backs, and it was real blood that was dripping out of our bodies.
Real blood, naked people. What were you trying to show in this performance?
So maybe you can answer.
Yeah. We were naked in order to show our bodies, like our pure naked bodies, in contrast with a blood that represents violence. So yeah, it's just a method. And we were using our corporeality in the contrast of the violence to show how it ridiculous should be in our 21st century nowadays.
Yes, so just to add something to what Sonia said. Yes, so basically we, as you could also hear in the manifesto, we required, for this performance, we required the pure form, the naked form, because we wanted to start in a way from the scratch, in a way that enable us to write on like a blank piece of paper, to have all the ink, the red ink, to be visible. As much as it could be, because if we would like wear something, for example, cover the top or like just a little bit, then in our opinion the form is not as clear as it can be. So basically, it's not attractive for us. Also, I think it was also the nudity was also a method, or like as a tool. We used it as a tool in order to, kind of show. How exposed one should be or can be when being also a participant in such violent war crimes, and how in a way the body and the blood contrast each other at the same time. And you ask also why we what was like the nude bodies and what?
Why naked people?
Oh yeah, naked people. Yeah, like I think it was also a very interesting thing to show from our perspective, because I think we wanted to show that the tool, like the nudity as a tool, can be used also in a way that really shows all the acts, and even the act is exposed, like the physical action is exposed. There's nothing to hide, in a way that obviously there's some kind of allegories or the second senses of the performances and everything, but at the same time the visible is exposed, like fully exposed. You can't be more exposed. So I think in a physical way, I think this is why we chosen nudity.
Yeah, so like you can perceive a naked human body as Yulia mentioned, as a clear, pure, white piece of paper, and canvas. And an interesting fact about how we created the idea of the performance. we tried to reference to the game back to back. Do you know the rules of the game? When someone draws on your back something, and you need to guess, what is it, and recreate this drawing in a piece of paper. So yeah, that's why.
Yeah, and I would just add that maybe also nudity, because I think it's something that, in a way, like, how to say it? Like, I think the best way to phrase it is something that really shows the contrast between how the act that we try to describe is, in a way, how brutal it is and how dirty it is, and in contrast with something that is really that's something that's really like naked, exposed, as also Gleb read in the manifesto. We used like almost 50 synonyms for naked, so or nudity. So so this is also why we wanted to show this in such contrasting way, I think.
So I have a next question. It was about a cult of this performance. It's EUROPA. Why this name?
Do you want to start, or?
I think actually Julia can start, because it was her idea, and I totally agreed.
I think you agreed.
Yeah, I totally agreed. And when Julia revealed this idea to me, I was really impressed, and we were talking all evening long about the concept of this idea, and like every time we found something new. Yes. Right? So.
So as you mentioned, the name of the performance is EUROPA in Polish, or EUPUS in English. So I think we had many ideas about how we can, name the performance. But mainly we were trying to find something that is abstract and physical at the same time, which is obviously like it's possible, or is it? I don't know. But basically, like we've chosen like this name because we did this performance in Poland, and by some people, Poland can be described as that we're the heart of Europe, or like in terms of location. So as also Sonia said, like there's many senses to it and many explanations, but I think the main part, so the literal part, EUROPA in Polish, obviously EU is also European Union, and Ropa in English is pus, so it's like this liquid, infected liquid that come out of your wound, for example. So we wanted also have this name as such comment to, for example, what's happening now in Europe, and like what's in terms of the full escalation, the war in Ukraine. But at the same time, we wanted to refer to other conflicts that were almost the same brutality were used. And for us, it can be described as pus, as something that is this liquid that is infected and coming out of, in a way, like healthy body, or something that kind of appeared on a healthy body and now is infected, and now because of that, like the liquid coming out, and yes, in a way, like it was also interesting how like this EU, like European Union, kind of came into play, because first idea was just like to cut the word Europa, so Europe, as also the continent, but also as the place that we're doing the performance in, the place where war is now, and also to kind of do like this small like commentary regarding like how interesting it is to experience all all these things that are happening right now in Europe, and how, in a way, how to say it, like, Europe is such a weird word at the same time, because people associate with Europe different values, and especially like positive values. Like we have in Poland, or like in Eastern Europe, we have this division, right? Like there's Western Europe and there's Eastern Europe. And if you go to the Western Europe, or something like countries of Western Europe, you realize that people have, you know, just I think. Obviously, it's improving, I hope so, but the thing is that they do not really have the essence, or get the essence of Eastern Europe. And the thing that we have this division, obviously because of the political reasons, and we know why, but the thing is that even now for us, as young Europeans, we can say, this division is really visible, and you can really feel that. So basically, I think the polemic that we wanted to have in the name is also referring to how different lies as well, and how many different and usually wrong stereotypes or wrong values are associated with Europe nowadays, or even like was before, because we have something as people would say, oh, you know, it's European, so it's like better, or like, I don't know, there's like European values, but what it really means, like, you know, like there's so many options, but at the same time there's no options. Like it's so contrasting, and it's so abstract, and so physical, and I think there's all those qualities are every quality that we wanted to have in this performance. And regarding the name, we also wanted to have something at first really abstract, that only after really kind of deep discussion it will be revealed. But you know, why to do it like so abstract, when we can have this word that literally like means nothing and everything at the same time? Like the meaning behind that is like it can be infinite, because as I said, we can say like, oh yeah, like we named this performance because we did it in Europe, but at the same time, you know, in English, like it's called EU PUS, so it's basically it's referred to EU and this infected liquid. So so yeah, I don't know, Sofia, you want to add something?
Yeah, as you mentioned, we have a lot of ideas how we can name this performance. Too many ideas, yes. And also the one great idea was to name. Can we do it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it would be a name for a different performance.
Yeah, but this wording you mentioned in your manifesto, yeah, it was oral rape.
Oh yeah.
This idea was also really interesting.
This
yeah.
is the name of our action performance.
Yes, but yeah, I think that EUROPA, EU PUS, like contains really plenty of senses, plenty of meanings, and like descriptions, yeah,
And
stereotypes, yeah.
everything.
So actually, we can talk about it all day long, right?
Yes, but I think, can I just say, I think the main the reason behind Europa, so EU PUS, is also how it sounds, because for us it's also interesting, and it's really important how the word sounds, and what kind of emotions it evokes in most people, because obviously it's not possible like to count all of it and to include all of them. But I think it really refers to our experiences in Europe, like our experience also of being from Eastern Europe, or like having experiences as Eastern European in Western Europe, and having maybe some bad experiences where we kind of have also the taste of bad Europe, or like this. I would say that those values that we, for example, do not share with other Europeans or something. Obviously, it's yeah, obvious, but the thing is that I think what's really interesting is that this like word play in Polish, which is like you're not aware of it as you know, as long as you're not gonna kind of cut the word, because we see like the name Europa or like even like the tattoo shop is called Europa, I think,
Yeah,
on the street near.
I want to add that if you will receive the English name of our performance like too many times, Eupus.
Yes.
Like what do you hear?
What do you hear, Stasha?
Good question. I'm not ready to answer, but for me, it's like if a very long time to just to repeat. I'm listening only to last three.
Like the letters.
Yeah, the last three letters, and if you will be repeat, you just at the same time you finish to hear this. You know.
Yes, because what I think what you meant is, are we thinking about the same thing? I think Oedipus, right? Right? Yeah. I was just wanted to confirm, because the thing is that, if you say like Eupus, I mentioned that to Sonia when I was like pitching my idea of the name of the performance. I said that it's really interesting how, in a way, like those senses create itself when you're working on a performance. And I said, like, I think once I said to you, like, we don't have to have everything like planned or something when we're doing performance, because some of the things will just appear and we have to accept it, and okay, like this is how the performance will like finish, like start and have the middle. So I think like it's really interesting how in this like word play or like just letters plays, it has many senses, and it reveals like Oedipus, which we all know what it is, and it's really interesting how it creates itself in a way, and how it also refers to some of the cons of some of the behaviors that you can also meet in Europe or something like that.
So it's the same time it's a politician performance. In the same time it's a sociality performance, and the same times it's a linguistic performance. It's everything. So I don't have a question in my lists about manifesto, but now I think it's a good point to ask you: what was born the first, manifest or performance?
That's really interesting. I think like this question even goes like beyond our performance, because I think this is a very interesting point, and it's really dangerous at the same time, because I feel like I can talk about it like too long. But the thing is that I would say that I don't even think that.
Can just say the truth.
Yeah, no, because I'm not even thinking. Yeah, because the manifesto was after the like before the performance. Manifesto was finished before the performance. Yeah, but it was created throughout all the meetings, all the preparations, all the online shoppings on medical sites. Yes, and to be honest, I don't think is there any. This is like, I think, like another question like that was born after your question. Is this even relevant when you're talking about performance? Because I think there's this sense in manifestos being made after the performance, but also, the manifesto can be defined as the statement or like this description of performance. Or the values before the performance, obviously, because you're just like, okay, you have to have like this base or like this theoretical base, as we also had before you're gonna do a physical action. But actually, is it like I think everything in terms of what should be first, or like what should you have a manifesto first, or should you have a theoretical base, like, or it can be both, or like in our case, manifesto, I think, was created really organically. It was just because yeah, as we can say, like Sonia made the theoretical base, the theoretical statement, and I've written the manifesto, and yeah, this is like and like another example of how interestingly and how good it linked, like at the end, because I think manifesto cannot exist without theoretical base, and theoretical base cannot exist without manifesto. Because I feel like for me, manifesto is like a scream, and theoretical base is just like silence. But at the same time, you know, yeah, it's something that cannot exist without the other part. And in terms of performance, I think it's really interesting how manifesto works for me. Maybe that's why I've written manifesto and Sonia theoretical part. But I think for both of us, those things are like inevitable when you're doing performance, and also in terms of which should be first. I don't think is there any like relevance to it, to be honest, because it depends on your process.
So yeah, I think that you should consider it like a part of this performance. In other words, this manifesto is a performance. It's our performance, but it's written using the words. And when we are doing this action, we were using our bodies. So like it's different methods to show the same things. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like yes, as you said, I think it's really interesting what you said about manifesto being, because I think we talked about it, but I forgot. Yeah, yeah, like no, but I mean like now.
We have a collective
memory or mind. Yeah, we have literally one brain. But the thing is that I think manifesto, as you said, is a performance itself. I mean, like, when Gleb read it now, I said to Sonia before, like, it would be like super interesting to hear somebody read it as they kind of process it, or like as they interpret it, like we did our symbols in our performances, in our performance. So yeah, it's all of the components for this performance. We thought when we were creating it or something like that, or making it or like writing it, I think applied the same method as we did when we were thinking about performance. So all these kind of small actions are also like those small performances, which you can say that, like reading manifesto can be performed, obviously, like it should be performed, like as I said, it's a scream. But at the same time, it can be intuitional. So yeah, this is like this question about kind of what performative action is literally kind of a part of the performance itself, you know?
Yeah, and I wanted to add that every time when this manifesto is read by something, the performance is going on and going on and going on.
Yeah, I think this was also our idea, right? Yeah, I think it was also our idea to not to have the exact finishing of the performance, because we actually had this discussion, I think, a couple of days ago regarding when the performance should be finished, like, or like how it can be finished, or should it be finished, like in a way how time applies to performance, or the performance that we did, because it's a creation, like we decide about it, like and we were discussing this decision. Actually, we were discussing what action, or if in any case it should be finished, because we think we have like this really I would say really interesting position in it, that we do not want to finish this performance with any exact physical action, I think. And we just want to have it as the open performance, where we kind of build up more senses and more actions to it. And we do not want to finish that. Like we do not want to have like this conventional finishing, and to have, the actions kind of closing, and then like, okay, so we can move on. Like we won't be able to move on like ever from it, I think, as, you know, fucking war or something.
It's a good point to start to speak about the war, about during this performance, because it's the first time it's a politician performance. So maybe you can to describe this part.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'll just say one sentence, okay? I think we wanted to have, like this performance, we wanted to be as broad as possible in a way that we're talking, obviously, the main thing is that we're talking about gang rape being acknowledged as a genocide within war crimes. And we, as also in our work, it described that it's not only a description of something that is happening now. It's also, you know, like a story about the past and how it evolves. So yeah.
Yeah, the initial idea of the performance like appeared obviously like at the beginning of war. Like not into full escalation. I mean, so obviously it came to me like, and then I contacted Julia, and we were trying to, we were contacted by Roman, and so. Okay, the initial idea. Yeah, let's start from this. As I am Ukrainian and I am from the eastern part of Ukraine, from Severodonetsk. This is my hometown that is totally destroyed now, and it's it. Like I was really all my life, like all my consciousness life, I was really admiring of doing and dreaming of doing performers. But when the war, the full escalation started. The idea of this exact performance came to me with this new. Like the initial idea, because it's also important to mention, because it looked like how to say it. So we created a new layer, so it's a different like ideas, if I can say it like this. So so this idea came to me with the with this new like news, with the photo of with the picture, a photo of a dead woman who was raped previously, and on her what? Ukrainian girl, and it was a burnt swastika on her back, and I was feeling that I felt that I need to speak about it, and the good way to speak about it is to create a performance on this topic. And then we were talking with Julia, and we were trying to create a new concepts. And then this initial idea turned to the initial idea about which refers to the war in Ukraine. This turned to genocide as a phenomenon that exists in every war, in every war in Europe, and not only in Europe. So.
Yeah, so I think when you were asking about this, like political aspect of it, I think, we basically, I think, described that. But as I said, and as Sonia mentioned, this political, it is a political performance. You can't escape that. And why would you escape that? But the thing...
In some cases, it is also anti-political performance.
Yeah, so, maybe you can, because I'm interested in, how you would describe that, how...
Yeah, so it's pretty clear, I think, because I mentioned that it also can be represent like anti-political performance if we due to in terms, okay, it would be better in terms of Russian politics and all the politics that includes such method as gun rapes and violence during the war.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think we pretty much described that, but so the political sense is also referring to, as we both I think said, gang rape that should be acknowledged as genocide everywhere, and yeah, that's I think the political kind of area of it.
Thank you for this answer. So now I want to return to performance here in Krakow, and you together with other participants were part of the performance. So what did you feel at the moment when another person was cut in your body, and what these symbols represent?
Maybe you want to answer first?
Actually, it is a really good question, interesting question, and but first of all, I would like you to tell you about other performers. Yeah, this is people who are really really interested in participating, as they were really they had a really enthusiastic attitude. Yeah, and we gave an opportunity to recreate a symbol of swastika and Z, because it was a symbol that we used in our initial idea, right? To equalize. Can I say that like that? To equalize them. So the performers had an opportunity to recreate and reinterpret these symbols, and every symbol is based on their personal experience, which is somehow connected with violence and somehow associated in their minds with violence. Unfortunately, they're not with us right now, here, but I think that we can reveal some ideas of these symbols.
No, yeah. I think you said it really good. How basically this idea was also made. But yeah. So what was the question again? Sorry, I was like.
What do you feel when?
Oh yeah, when somebody was cutting. Yeah. I'm like.
My first question next: what this symbol represents?
Okay, I think the discussion about what the symbol represents. Those people have to be here because we can speak for them, but we can say, for example, about ours reinterpretations. But yeah, so basically, how it felt. I mean, how it really feels. I mean, describe a feeling, you know, it's an interesting thing.
The different experience.
Yes, we definitely had different experiences, both good, if you can say that. But for me, you can discuss regarding the physical action, so how it felt. Obviously, it was uncomfortable. It was something that at some point I wanted to stop. And it was something that hurt. And I think regarding the abstract kind of, or like the metaphorical sense, for me it felt like it's interesting because at the same time it felt really foreign. Like it felt obviously something that you know, it's not really kind of common at the same time, and it's something that I don't want to feel, but at the same time I want to feel that, because this is like this tiny part that I can be fully in the moment of thinking about one thing that is happening to me, for example, and what it represents, and also kind of why we're doing this. I think this was the moment for, I believe both, like everyone, like also both of us, to really be in a moment and just feel, yeah, the exact sense and the exact purpose of this performance, and yeah, to just maybe reflect and to really feel. Yeah, just maybe like a tiny bit of how it might feel, or just I think, because obviously it's impossible, and it would be you know, just a lie if you would say, oh yeah, you know, this is how it feels. So, but the thing is that I think that at least for me, when because my wound is my wounds, because I have two, and they're like healing good and everything. So do not worry, everyone. Everyone's are in good health for the performance, but in terms of my wounds, they're quite deep. So if you're asking about this physical aspect, yeah, like I was really feeling the cutting, and like I was really feeling, yeah, I think the amount of pain that is also visible now. But yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to like physical aspect, my wound was really like have been done really delicate, but it was really big on the like the whole my back. Yeah, and actually, I need to say, I don't want to hide that I was. How to say it? Sorry, I forgot this word. I was yeah, I was thinking. Okay, I was thinking about how can I do something really hurtful to another person. I was not thinking about my back, actually. So it was pretty controversial feeling, because I was I was feeling that something is going on, and it doesn't feel good, you know. But at the same time, all my thoughts were how to say it? All my thoughts were about this person who are standing in front of me, and I am doing like the act of violence towards him. And because my partner like was a boy, yeah, so it was this feeling was really unpleasant and bad. So yeah.
I just want to say that obviously our performance was planned. So so I think this feeling that was also at least felt by me, It was that it's very interesting because it's as maybe as Sonia said, can be acknowledged but as an act of violence or something that it's like a violent action, right? Like, so cutting, okay, it can be described as a violent action towards your body or towards somebody else's body. But at the same time, what about planned violence? Like, you know, there's this discussion regarding, oh, does the rapist or the abuser plan their action? Or is it something that, I don't know, just wakes up in him or her and then they act? I think those questions are also really interesting because those questions are being born on the questions, for example, that you ask us today and everything. And as we also said before, we want to have this project as unfinished as possible. And in the sense that we can add more and more things to it later on, as you know, also. So I think that, as Sonia said, the feeling was, yeah, like controversial, or was something that. I mean, actually, like, your perspective is really interesting for me. Like, now I'm thinking about it because, yeah, like we also have those questions that we're gonna ask our performers. Like after the exact time that we scheduled, because we want to have different answers. But the thing is that we haven't talked about it, like with Sonia before, about our experiences and what we felt, for example. But I think, yeah, like, you know, the things that you were thinking about the other person is, I think, really interesting. And it creates like another dimension to it, because even though, as we're saying in manifesto, or like the theoretical base, that our role in this performance as performers are interesting in a way and fascinating for me, because we're the abuser and the victim at the same time. Our back is being cut, but also we're cutting somebody's back, ideally at the same time. So I was not able to feel the same emotions as Sofia said, because my back was cut after my action. So this is just how the person that cut my back decided to do it like that. But so I could be kind of fully in the action of my back being cut, and I think this was the only thing that I was also thinking about in terms of any physicality. So yeah, but I think those perspectives, and each of our perspectives, just also reveals some yeah, like something that is called in manifesto, for example, pronouns. Because we wanted to add this another dimension in it, that, so how do you identify? Like, this is a question that can be asked in today's Europe, like, really frequently. And this question about identity and this need for being identified, like, you identify, for example, victims, right? Like, you identify bodies, you identify your pronouns, for example, or like you identify yourself as something. Like, we need those kind of labels, and we need to name things. This is the thing that, oh, so why we bury people, or like why, you know, why? Like, do anyone know the answer? But the thing is that, yeah, like, the main reason also for us that we did this performance is to have this question made, like to like enter this performance with certain set of questions, and then after the performance, by, for example, people like you, or like by us, or the discussion that we create with our performers, like after the action, to have those extra layers of questions, and to not have answers, like to not finish those questions, or like those kind of abstract ideas that are being created, because we can stop that. We can stop asking the questions, but we can decide to make an answer. Like, so I think, yeah, this is also a part of this performance that I think we're really enjoying so far, because there's so many interesting bases, and there's so many interesting, yeah, as I said, like statements, questions, feelings that entered this discussion. Yes, Sofia said that we can write a book. I mean, yeah, we're gonna see, and I think if so, it's not gonna be planned.
So it's like intuitional performance, yeah? More.
I think it's a part of it, yes.
Okay.
But I don't think I would call it an intuitional performance.
I
Because
think it appears in all the aspects, like.
yeah, but
Also,
I don't think I would just label it as, you know.
No, but it's just a part.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it's
yes.
in it, but it's just a part. Yeah, and actually we had to discuss our symbols. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
the meaning of our symbols. Yeah. So the symbol I was cutting on my partner's back was the part with like inner part of peace symbol, right? Without this circle. And we decided to cut it together with my partner, actually, and it like there is also a lot of senses regarding this symbol, but I think the main one it's unfinished peace symbol, which means like the this phrase like make love not war, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work when your country is in war and have to fight, and you cannot be like pacifist. Yeah, you just cannot. You cannot allow yourself to be a pacifist. So yeah, that's why this symbol is unfinished. Yeah, and also what should I?
Maybe what symbol you reinterpreted, like spastic or is that?
Okay, yeah. So I think that this was an interpretation of. I need to think actually, because I think it refers to the both symbols in some ways. So, but I need to really think about it. But I think the main symbol that to which refers like my reinterpretation refers to is a symbol of racism. That, yeah, like a controversial, not answer, but it's a really interesting, actually, question. I thought about both of these symbols, yeah,
As well, right?
yeah, and regime and like Russia with the racism, like creates a regime that making like that killing us Ukrainians, right? And this symbol is unfinished because it doesn't create in us the feeling to just to be pacifists and do not react on this aggression.
Maybe you can also say about your symbol.
Yeah, and I have this symbol on my back, like the really big V, yeah. V for victory. But no. Yeah, as you know, that the main like symbol of racism is Z, but actually they also have the circle, like one of those their symbols, and we. And I thought that it could like zostawić. No, nie w tym sensie. like it still refers to the Russianism and Russian regime, but it's not that recognizable. So I wanted to have on my back like the exact symbol of the regime, but I didn't want to use like these. The symbol that not because this symbol is really recognizable now during this war in Ukraine, but just because I wanted to leave a place to like our viewers of the performance also reinterpret like in their minds the symbol.
Yes, because I think it's really interesting with your symbol that V is also, I think, the main symbol of victory, right? Like people associate it with victory. And when I saw like, even you have like this, you do like this with your fingers and it can mean like a lot of things. But yeah, for me, for example, when I saw it, I was like, because I didn't know that it's also a symbol. Like another symbol for Z or something, and I thought like, oh, it's a victory or something. Like this is like a polemics with victory and like who's gonna win. Yeah, and is there even like a area for discussion about victory? Because I think there's only like losers within the not losers, but like how we say like people that lose within those actions.
That's why I was joking like at the beginning of my answer, just because I understand that many people can receive this symbol in this sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is really interesting. So regarding my symbol, so I was cutting on my partner. Sofia, I cut a circle in the middle of her back because this is also what we discussed before, like every performer discussed what they're going to cut on each other before the performance on our rehearsal, and we were also sharing the reinterpretation based on our, as Sofia said, background and personal experiences. And how we reinterpreted those two regimes, or just even one regime, or even for example, the main core values of any regime, actually, that creates and do war crimes. So I cut circle on Sofia because for me this is a symbol of symbols. Like circle for me, even the really big circle, I think it's even stronger that. It's a circle action. We were also standing in a circle, and it's something that you can see a start and you can see the finish. So this is just like a symbol that you can start in, for example, at the top, but you can also start at the bottom, and you won't be able to see that. So. The same thing happens, for example, to the culture or the symbols being, appropriated or just symbols being forgotten. I mean, like visual, like archetypes or just lines, which most symbols are, and. How those being, for example, those archetypes or those lines associated with different people and different actions are being forgotten, and then somebody like just dig them out and they take them. They say, oh, this is now our symbol of something, and then we kind of judge the symbols by the actions of those people that appropriated to them. To their plans or whatever they want to do with that. So for me, the circle also visually is really attractive and is something that kind of says more than I think I can say, because for me it's something that really represents the circle action and how, in a way, how everything just starts and then like goes like to some point, and then it's like forgotten, then somebody like take it out again, and then it's visible, and then again it's forgotten. It depends like only on human factor, and I think and I think those lines dependency on human factors and on in a way on humanity is really interesting. So that's why I chose this one. So yeah.
Just one sentence, sorry, that also swastika and that also were reinterpreted by those regimes here. So,
Fun fact.
Do you receive any feedback from the audience after the performance? What type of the reaction it was?
Actually, I was really surprised because I received a lot of really good feedbacks from people. I know that they were like viewers who were not able to stay till the end. Just because it was really hard to watch for like sensitive people, but actually the fun fact that those people who were not able to stay till the end, they were texted me after, and they were like, "Oh, sorry that I felt really bad because I cannot see when someone's blood or when people are cutting each other, but it was really strong, and they were like really thankful for this experience."
So I would say that we quite fresh after the performance because it was last week, right? Last Friday. So the feedback that I got, I think the essence of it was that it was a visually strong performance. I think mainly because of the blood and the amount of blood, and also the fact that the blood was fresh. So kind of you can see the body without the blood, and then you can see the exact harm and the exact moment that it happened, and then the outcome of it at the same time. So I think I don't know any person that just walk out, but I know that there were some people, and I think their perspective is also really interesting because it gives us.
And we expected for this reaction.
Yes, I mean obviously because some people like pass out when they see blood or something like that, and we're not those people. And I think that's interesting. I think that's also what something to pinpoint and to discuss further, and maybe not today because we don't have time for it.
For me, it's hard to see like those.
Really?
Yeah.
But like, in what way hard?
Like I see this action, and I have these goosebumps, yeah. And it's not that easy, to watch.
But you mean only because of the physical harm, or you mean because you know the background of the performance?
No, first of all, because of the physical aspect.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Like, I can't stop saying that, but that's true. That's true because like I don't feel that, and maybe it's regarding the personal level of kind of being, as you said, like sensitive to people's harm, or to just to just kind of, I don't know, some personal things. But yeah, like your perspective for me, like somebody that, you know, is not feeling that when I'm watching our performance or like because to be honest, like those performances are really interesting for me and really fascinating when you can see the exact outcome, or like you can see the body as a self-sufficient form of action or like situation, or as performance can be called, situation, just situation. And I think there's those perspectives and yeah, like the fact that we were all in one circle and we kind of closed the action, but at the same time we started the action because somebody had to start, had to be, obviously, if we would like shoot the performance in like, you know, milliseconds or something, we would see that, I don't know, maybe Sonia like started like for catching somebody first or somebody else. And I think, or we can see like I think it was Philemon, right? And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fascinating, those also small details of the performance, and I think this performance was also made to discuss and to talk through things, and maybe this is also a medium for some people to actually express their thoughts on the situation like now in Ukraine, or the full escalation, or just different things, like maybe just body aspects, or as I said, like the body, treating body as a self-sufficient form in performance or in creation, you know, at all. Because yeah, this is when you can kind of have something out of your body and kind of just play around with that and then create the performance around it. I think this is the essence of just using the body as a tool, or just perceiving body as a tool that can give you the outcomes that you cannot how is it przewidzieć? Predict. You cannot predict. And this is also why we used bodies, and like why we use nudity, because if you have more unpredictable factors, then at least, I don't know, for me it's more interesting, and there's more purpose in it to do it. So yeah.
Actually, Roma told that our time is running out.
Yeah, unfortunately it will be my last question. Do you plan to show this performance anywhere else?
We can do the same like at the beginning.
Oh yeah. Yes. No. What? I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah. We will. Like I was.
Oh, you meant like now or something? Oh, you mean
no,
like
recreation of this performance? No, definitely like no. It was like one-time action. Yes. Yeah, but we have a lot of documentations regarding this performance, and I hope you will see it in some galleries. Yeah. So.
Yes, because we plan to, because now we are finishing our documentation, and like we want to have this in one file, and we want to have the video, the photos, but also all the documents, so the theoretical base and also the manifesto in one file. And yes, we already contacted some people, some galleries that would be able to provide us the space to exhibit our also objects from the performance, but like as the cloth, or with some blood stains on it, or that could or other elements that were used, because this is also what we wanted to show in a way, that how it is to perceive a performance through objects, not through just experiencing it as the viewer, like live. So we obviously I think we just understood the question differently, because regarding the recreation, yes, obviously, yes, this is
a good answer. It's a perfect answer. So.
Yes, no, this is 50-50. Yeah.
Last question, it's a perfect answer.
Yes. So about recreation, no, we did it once, and we want to just exhibit the results, and also for our archives, because archiving is really important, and this is also the purpose of ours. But yeah, regarding the exhibition, yes, we want to participate in such actions.
So thank you very much for this conversation and for this time. I'm spent perfect time together with you. So now Sofia will read the theoretical statement. So let's go listening.
Okay. Theoretical statement for EUROPA, EUPUS. Genocide of Ukrainian people committed by a terrorist state. This wording gained widespread recognition and became inextricably linked to Russia during the full-scale invasion, consolidating and indiscriminate responsibility for war crimes, barbarian permissiveness, which feels out of date and out of place, an attitude of the herd from bygone times, is the basis of the Russian policy throughout all military conflicts. Russians experience the so-called déjà vu from the threat of the Great Terror. The primary feature of the communication is distrust, reinforced by propaganda attitudes from well over half of its population. Therefore, psychological pressure tools generate wartime violence, violating international war law. Consequently, we must keep raising the issue of Russia's membership in the UN General Assembly. The first imposition of the Russian peace should be considered as illustration of two layers of the phenomenon, imperialistic whim and absurd interpretation of its naming. However, it is unacceptable to separate responsibility from the Russian civilians and the criminal authority of the state, as well as the Russian elite that is representative of banditry. If we will turn to the heavily provided newspeak in Russia, special military operation is waged in order to denazificate Ukraine, which is just a hypocritical usage of the terminology in the matter of political and war methods character. The propaganda machine tries to insistently force the idea by referencing the Second World War history, purposely losing disadvantaged facts. Obviously, Russia does not change its traditions by committing gun rapes, which have been recently acted under the symbol of the existing regime, Russism, Z. Wartime violence is inherent in every war, so it has taken the form of a strategic weapon that can be easily implemented due to many motivating factors described by psychology and the sociocultural phenomenon of violence. We want to bring up the topics related to military conflicts in Europe and beyond and show that atrocity cannot be excused or justified under any circumstances. If we want to remain in accordance with the principles of humanism, we must do what we want to make it disappear from the horizon of modern life. Even though various forms of violence and torture are a crime against humanity, this strategy is not disdained by representatives of the highest ranks in the matter of calling the shots, as well as rapists and murderers explicitly. This method of warfare is conducted to demoralize the civilians, annihilate the population, and forcibly resettle and split up families. When it comes to armed troops, it is essential to realize that their abuse of power must be treated not only as a weapon of mass destruction, but in terms of personal harm, a breach of the inviolability of the individuals and humiliation of human dignity. Based on humanitarian rights doctrine, which must ensure the freedom from the torture in both physical and psychological aspects. The question of a court martial arise not only in relation to representatives of the political machinery. We exploit corporeality in a social, cultural, and political context without hesitating to make sacrifices ourselves and resort to brutal methods. We create an agreeable cruelty as a recreation of forced cruelty that enables us to reach the ideas of humanism through the transcendental process of experience. Each participant has the opportunity to reinterpret symbols such as swastika and the Russian Z, which are associated with encroachment of people's lives, invasion and abuse, to stir up debate of symbols' origin and what influences their recognition. For instance, a symbol that may be just a letter itself can be used to mark particular ideology and consequently establish the regime. The united organism created by our bodies represents the circle, allowing this experience to reveal and come back. It helps participants to try filling the both roles of victim and abuser at the same time. Nevertheless, the abuser will never put himself in the victim's boots. Moreover, the vicious circle illustrates a history stream that will help us to remember the casualties forever.